Okay, everybody, I am so excited. We have a new band to me, but they are so phenomenal. Their name is, and I want to make sure I say this right, but it's Ohikada. And believe me, they will tell you all about their self. That is the most original name. I'm so excited to have them on the show. This is going to be such an interesting show. So tell me about your band. Where did that name come from? That is crazy.
And you notice that both of them turned and looked at me right away. Okay, so Ohikada very plainly is my traditional family name in Gaelic. My grandfather emigrated over from Waterford just prior to World War II, and found a lot of work in the steel mills in Pittsburgh. So it's basically Hickey in the American version is what my side of the family's name is. So therefore, a lot of it stems from like the clans. If you kind of do the genealogy of it, what's kind of interesting is if you ever looked at our coat of arms, there's we've got a bar sinister on it because given that we're a bunch of drunken Irish people, at one point I think we were like high-ranking physicians or lawyers to the royalty way back in the Middle Ages, and obviously someone said something they shouldn't know, but in a drunken stupor, and then there you go.
It sounds like Irish people. Something drunken
all the time. So.
Sounds awesome. So tell us about the band. You guys are not here in Indy where I am. Where are you guys at?
For the most part, Central Florida. We're kind of scattered about Florida a little bit. We're coming to you from Orlando, April.
Yeah.
This is her place.
Nice.
And then this is Jennifer, who's our violinist, fiddle player, and occasionally pulls out 1,700 other instruments when we're not looking.
That's true.
Our drummer could not make it tonight, and neither could our bass player. But for the most part, we're a standard 5-piece with acoustic instruments such as mandolin, violin, 12-string acoustic guitars and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. How did you guys meet? How did you get together?
She's my niece.
Well, that helps.
That
helps
a lot. And this one here, we jokingly call ourselves brother and sister, but we've been performing with each other off and on, going on 10 years almost.
Yeah, 10 years, and I helped them out for a while with their metal band, Earn, and I played keyboard for a while, and I feel help get on guitar sometimes.
Nice.
But yeah, it's actually pretty cool because what was it like? It's coming up on like just a little over a year when you asked me. It was at Wawa. Do you guys have Wawa there?
Yes. Tell me about Wawa. Is it a radio station?
We'll tell you all about Wawa. Yes.
Okay.
Tell me all of
them. I don't know. They might have something equivalent up north, but in they have them in Florida, all over Florida. But it's like a gas station that has like awesome food, and you can get like awesome food and smoothies and sandwiches even at like 3 a.m. So like after a show, that's where we go. Like instead of just going like to Taco Bell or whatever McDonald's, we go to Wawa because it's affordable. Nice. And after an acoustic gig that Dominic did as a solo artist, and then I did solo, we talked about it, and he asked, he brought up Ohikada to me, and I actually like love Celtic music, and I like grew up listening to that type of music, so it was just kind of a good match.
I actually played into the family, also the metal band that we play in. I actually ended up seeing them when I was about 18, based in a show that was in Iowa, and I actually snuck in to go see this show. And then next thing you know, like 10 years later, I married into the family. Like, wait, I've seen you play. Did you play here? Like, list the concert dates. You're like, yeah. I'm like,
Nice. Yeah, I married my guitarist as well, so he can't get away.
Cool.
So I understand. Yeah, it's keep it in the family. It's cheap. It's cheaper help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's always that. No, but that's really awesome. I love I love the mix that you guys have. So how do you when you're writing, do you guys all write together, or is it something more on the lines of who writes most of the songs? Is it kind of a
Up to this point,
got it? All right.
up to this point, I've done the vast majority of the writing because confessionally, we did it all under the Earn moniker. Earn, as you keep ashes in, was the name of the metal band. And I had kind of just started integrating the Celtic side of us into it, like right around 2005, 2006.
Right.
So, we put out an album called Dancing with the Demigods, which one of the songs you're going to play later is on that. And it kind of opened the doors for us to play with we got paired up with a lot of folk metal bands. So we ended up going on playing a lot of shows with bands like Fintroll, Tyr, and Sephirum, a lot of the Scandinavian folk metal bands, Corpora Kalani. And so that, because we kind of had that element going to us. Now, I found out later there was like a whole genre called Celtic metal, like bands like Primordial, if I'm saying it correctly. But kind of what we did was we kind of just took what we do and we kind of multifaceted. So we can do it both electrically as a metal band, like, kind of give it like in another radio interview that I had done, one of the listeners called in and said that we reminded them of Metallica meets the Dropkick Murphys.
Okay. That's nice.
I can't say I was comfortable with that, but they weren't wrong. So we went with it. And but kind of what we've been doing over the last year, we decided that, because we also do kind of like a gothic symphonic type of a thing. So it was starting to cause a confusion with fans. Which version of Earn were you going to see? We're going to see this types of songs. We're going to see this types of songs. So eventually I just kind of gave up the ghost and I separated the two bands, if you will, with the Ohikada name, just to alleviate that confusion. And we've been playing for just about a year now.
Yeah, a little over a year with this lineup, and it's cool because we get to perform those songs. And even though like there were songs maybe that you previously wrote, like I think when they're different performers performing it, it adds like something different to it. Mm-hmm. And then we also get to do like our take of traditional Irish songs. So kind of mix that in there and then do our originals. And but now like we're starting to write new stuff, and now we're all like kind of contributing now.
So that's nice.
Future of Ohikada.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Well, we're going to be listening to Autumnal Sunrise next. So tell us about that song.
Basically, very simply, I wrote it on the 1-year anniversary when my mother's mother had passed away from cancer. I was living in Kenosha, Wisconsin at the time, and I was working an overnight job in between tours. And Zoe is our pet is about to come into the screen here. So
okay.
That's
Mine
okay.
might come in. I'm just letting you know. Oh, there's a cat.
So basically what it was is I would work in between tours when I was in a band that was touring with some major names back in the 90s. I would work an overnight job in between tours, and sometimes when you're working overnight shift, I would go to the Kenosha Marina and watch the sunrise over Lake Michigan, and kind of that's where the idea came from. I kind of wrote it down, and eventually that song kind of progressed later in that year. So that was like around 1997, I think, when I originally wrote it, but I didn't actually put it into a band setting until probably 2010. So.
Oh, nice. Well, we're going to listen to that. We're going to listen to Autumnal Sunrise, and then we'll talk to you a little bit later as well. Okay.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Okay, guys, we are back. with Ohikada, and this has been an amazing show so far. Some beautiful music, some really interesting things. I'm absolutely loving every moment of having this show. But now we're back with this beautiful band, and we're going to have such a great time getting to know you guys. So, who wants to go first and tell us about yourself? Fingers went that way.
I'm gonna go first.
Age before beauty.
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh,
That's okay. No, that's all right. You see what I go through on a daily basis here.
dude, you are outnumbered.
Yeah, I am. I've been playing professionally going on just around 30 years now. I was very fortunate and blessed. I went to college in Cleveland in a small Jesuit school called John Carroll University. And through that, I had become the operations station manager of it for a while. And in 1991, that's how I'm going to date myself here, we won Radio Station of the Year through CMJ Magazine. And so a lot of us that were on the director staff, it opened us a lot of opportunities for internships. So I got to work for a couple of major radio stations. At the time was 107.9 the N, WENZ, no longer in existence, Clear Channel saw to that. But our sister station was 98.5 WNCX. And because I was able to work the weekend shifts, a lot of the bands that I played in the Cleveland area, we ended up getting a lot of opportunities because guess what? You got free radio promotion just by my being there. And one thing led to another.
Absolutely.
It got me into a couple of major bands in the 90s where I played guitar or bass. And then was just very, very blessed. Got to play with so many major icons, ranging from, I mean, it could be something acoustic, like playing with like Gordon Lightfoot, all the way up to, doing tour dates with Typo Negative. And
nice.
It was just a wonderful, wonderful ride. And mostly we did that under the Earn name. We're entering our 20th anniversary in May in New Orleans. Ohikada is supposed to play the day before, May the 4th, pandemic pending. Classically trained. I studied at a conservatory in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, learning classical guitar and jazz. And then I trained at Columbia College under Dr. Carol Verdi for classical voice for 4 years.
Nice.
And so that's
this is a resume. Let me write all this down.
Well, my husband is actually a classical guitarist. He studied at Butler, so I understand. When we first got married, he would take his guitar everywhere, and I said, by the way, you married me, and the guitar gets to stay home when we go on dates. Just gonna say. I'm like, no. He's like, but it's mine, and I'm like, no. So I understand.
My wife is a non-musician, and ironically, what drew me to you was my daughter's name is Rain. So
there you go.
The element rain. So I was like, oh wow. It's like I saw Celtic Rain. It's like, why didn't I come up with that?
That would have been perfect.
That would have been. All right. So who's next, ladies? Tell us about yourselves.
So when we actually got married, we brought in our performance art into our wedding, and we actually got married with a whip tie instead of a traditional, what is that called when you wrap the hands together?
Hand fasting.
We did a hand fasting. We did it with a whip. Yeah. And then we also lighting our dresses on fire. So we brought the performance world into our wedding. Otherwise, I've been actually a performer for about the last 10 years, but almost no music. Music for me is actually fairly recent as a performer. I did I want to say about 12 years of violin, about 2 years of guitar, a couple years of piano, and then most recently I started into my bass guitar journey to join along with this group.
Nice.
Relatively young as a musician, but otherwise a performer for about 10 years, though it's mostly been fire performing and whip cracking.
Nice. I do a little bit of whip with our Renaissance Fair situation. I'm not great at it, but I it's real fun. That's really fun.
Which fair in Indy do you do whips with?
Oh, so okay. So there we have a group called The Lute and the Lady, and we do a lot of Tom Lear music. And I know, right? And so we do masochism tango. And so I use the whip in that because it's just fun. And then I just walk around the fair sometimes when we're not playing, and I just, Don't kill people, but you know,
Like, crack a whip.
crack it.
I've been tempted to do
Because
that.
why not?
Every time I go
I
to
need-
Renaissance fairs, it's usually to see other whip performers there. So like the one that was down here, we went to see Aaron Bonk, who holds like 4 Guinness World Records in whip cracking. We've been to the Bristol Renaissance Fair, and Adam Winrich holds like, I don't remember, like a dozen or so.
Yeah, that's the mothership. Bristol's the mothership.
A dozen or so. I have I think I'm around a dozen Guinness World Records in whip cracking. So I try to avoid not doing the whip thing, because otherwise people are like, wait, is that oh no, it's just you. I'm like,
What?
I was you understand yourself. You're like, you have all these like amazing talents and world records and stuff.
She's got like a whole
Do not have a world record.
He even gave me a couple because he ran out of wall space just to hang up in my office. I'm just like,
Sweet. That's hilarious. All right. Well, what about you? Tell us about yourself.
Okay, it's my turn. Okay. Well, I'm April Rose, and I play guitar and ohikada. I guess guitar and sometimes mandolin. Sometimes mandolin we share custody, but well, all share custody or the
we
mandolin.
fight over
it's
it.
kinda
We
like
have to flip a coin every week. So
yeah,
who
one
doesn't take
week
it
somebody
home.
else has it. So,
Very nice.
but for me, when my dad was a singer in the Philippines, and I think I got my musical side from him. When I was about 13, my mom said, "I want you to like take lessons in something," and of course, I wanted to learn drums. And then my mom, being traditional Filipino, was like, "No, it's too loud. I don't want a drum set in the house." So I was already kind of getting into rock at that time. So I was like, well, how about guitar? And I didn't realize like how much I would enjoy playing the guitar. So I took lessons then, and then just kind of like went from there. Like I played guitar all the time after school, in the car. Like it just became like my passion. And so that's what I studied in college. I studied at Rollins College in West Park, Florida, and studied guitar performance, primarily rock and jazz. And I wanted to go more of in the direction of not teaching, but kind of being like a composer or like a performer, like in an orchestra. And then my life just kind of led me to be in a rock band. But I've had such awesome memories and played awesome shows and met great people like these people here, and my husband from being in a band. So professionally as a musician, as in like playing out in a band, I've been playing for about 12 years professionally, but I've been playing guitar like half of my life now. But when I first met my husband, I was in a band called a symphonic metal band in Orlando called Fields of Glass, and I played cello, electric cello in that band. Because I played a little bit of cello and orchestra in high school, even though guitar is my primary instrument. But that's how we met, and then formed the band that we now have. Aside from ohikada, I am the vocalist, guitarist, and primary songwriter of a band called Auditory Armory, which is
very nice.
Thank you. It's and we're like you mentioned, progressive rock, so we're like a progressive alternative metal band. And there's
very nice.
So yeah.
Cool. You should send me some of that music. I'll play it. Believe me.
Okay.
Yeah, we're coming to you from the Auditory Armory rehearsal. So.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly.
Contact her with Dom, and I'll send you some stuff too.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Well, we're going to be listening to The Road to St. Patrick's. Tell me about that song.
Well, you being also an Irish performer, I have a question for you. How many times have you performed The Wild Rover?
1,000.
Sounds about right.
I don't know if we can count.
So, this was kind of like our version of a popular Irish song. And
right.
When you think about all of the songs that are out there by a lot of the popular Irish artists, when you think about all the songs that the Chieftains have done and the Dubliners, so when I kind of wrote the song, I kind of wrote it for when my daughter was an infant and she loved to dance. So it was like a happy little tune that just kept her going and going and going. So eventually I just kind of thought about it a little bit, and you figured everybody, they look forward to St. Patrick's Day. And what I took a little bit of a spin lyrically on it because, we've been living in a lot of volatile times. Now, granted, I wrote these lyrics about 10 years ago, but it kind of just talks about, you know, the more, like I say it in the third verse, and you'll hear it. The difference is we're all the same. You know, the more you think about it, you know. So, and that's kind of where a lot of the language comes in, you know, as we walk together. So, because everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day is the running joke.
That's right.
So that's kind of a play on it. But there's
except for the Scots.
But it's an Irish pub drinking song if you wanted to make it that.
Nice, very nice.
Except
Except for the Scots. So it's hilarious. So we're part of the Scottish Society, and so we walk in the St. Patrick's Day parade as the Scottish Society, as Scots, and so we're always like, you do know that St. Patrick came from Scotland. You do know he was Scottish, right? So they're always like, why are you here? Because St. Patrick was actually Scottish,
there you go.
and he came to, you know, save all you crazy Irish people. Just saying. And so everybody's Irish,
we do play
except the Scots. Caledonia. See, there you go. Oh my God, how many times have you played that song as well?
I've lost count. And actually, 2 years ago, I played the Ligonier Highlander games out in the Pittsburgh area. So it's not uncommon for us to show up at Scottish events too. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and listen to this. It's called "The Road to St. Patrick's." Okay, guys, we are back for our last little bit with Ohikada, and this has been just the most amazing time with you guys. I've had the best time. It's been really, really fun getting to know you guys, and I can't wait to have you back on the show eventually again, because that's just going to be a blast. And so we're going to get to know you a little bit more, but we want to know where we can find your music, where we can find you guys as a band. Where are you going to play next? I know it's kind of crazy with COVID right now, but you know, are you doing any live performances? Are you doing any online performances? What's going on with you guys?
Sure. Well, being in Florida, we've been kind of blessed, fortunate, depending on your perspective. Florida, we did a full reopen in August. I think it was August they reopened all the bars. So we've actually been able to perform at limited capacities. Like a lot of venues, they are open, but only like allow 50%. A lot of them will still like require you have to wear mask coverings. There is social distancing. So we've been actually I've been playing in April. We've been doing a lot of duos all across Florida fairly regularly since the beginning of August. And
that's nice.
So it's been kind of nice. But, you know, we've been trying to stay within protocols, and we're not trying to cause, you know, political issues. We're just not those kind of people. But so we do know that, like folks like yourselves up in Indiana, you've been pretty much locked down. We've been a little fortunate in that regard that we've been allowed to get out a little bit, because technically, because of the weather here, a lot of the shows are outdoors. So you're not confined, and you are able to properly social distance, keep 6 feet away. Like we've got a couple of outdoor festivals we're going to be headlining, and we're probably going to be like 24 feet away from the next person from the staging area.
Oh, yeah.
So you get the idea of that. So we've been playing a good bit, and we're kind of keeping our tools sharpened, which is kind of nice, especially as now that we're past Valentine's Day and heading into St. Patrick's. We're starting to ramp up everything that we need to do. I have my own personal website, DominicStCharlesMusic.com. Because as far as branding and marketing with this band, we're still kind of in our infancy stage. So I haven't really came up with our own website yet. So
but we do have the Facebook page.
We do have a
I was about to say, you do have a Facebook page.
Yeah, so. And for those who aren't with us visually, it's facebook.com/Ohikada Music, written as one word.
And how do you spell Ohikada?
I was just about to do that. Would you like to spell it? Okay. So it's O, and then it's H as in Hector, I as in Isaac, C as in Charles, H as in Hector, I as in Isaac, D is in David, H is in Hector, E is in Echo, and music, and that's where you would find us on Facebook. And
There will be a spelling test.
There will be a spelling test. And then
there's a quiz on that.
On Instagram as well right now.
And YouTube, because we the song that you just played, Road to St. Patrick's, we just released a music video for that just a few
Very
months.
nice. That's
we
awesome.
have a YouTube channel. We'll probably have our own website by the end of 21. But for now we're just trying to still kind of keep the ball going, because I think everybody kind of identified us as Earn for the longest time. So we're still trying to get that degree of separation. So that's where people can find us. And I usually relate the dates on the Earn and my own personal webpage, where Ohikada will also be. So
right.
We'll be putting a lot up on a lot of our social media over the next week.
Like you were saying, we have a lot of stuff like St. Patrick's Day. Like we have you'll find the dates there, because we have quite a bit of dates booked in March already. So if you're in the Florida area, and it's like a little all over Florida. So hopefully we reach.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we actually have some people that will be listening to this that are in Florida, so that's good to know. So they can go to your Facebook page, I'm assuming, and find the events there. Right. So that's great. So just so everybody knows, that's facebook.com/Ohikada Music. That's OHICHIDHE Music. Just so everybody understands that. Yay! I have a little bit of a cheat sheet, because there is an actual banner on our video. I'm like, that's right. No, I just have this memorized because I'm just amazing. That's what it is.
You guys in Indy, do you guys are you guys able to play shows in March or?
Yes, we actually are booked for St. Patrick's Day and for the 13th. Everything, of course, is 50% capacity. And as you guys said, for us, I have some requirements for our band. Number one, we're behind our instruments, and that's like 12 feet of stuff, so it's not like we're close to anybody when my mouth is open, singing. And I just say now, and number two, when we're out, we will have masks on. We'll have the N95 masks on, and please keep your drunk people behind the instruments.
Well, we don't drink personally. We don't.
I'm the only one who drinks.
But you're at bars. I know you're at bars. These people are like, "You guys are so good." I'm like, "Well, thank you." Okay, back up.
I know. They're like,
"I'm so glad you like us."
Yeah. You see that guy that wanted to he just got up there and duetted. What did he have an instrument or something?
No, I guess he thought it was an open mic night, I guess was the only conclusion I could draw.
So great. I love the story.
In Barrel Beach at Sean Ryan Pub last year.
It was Drunken Sailor, right?
Well, no, that was we finally. I had been performing for 12 hours at that point. We finally played the last song as the Ohikada, and we closed it out with Drunken Sailor, because that just ends it on a high. Some guy came up and put $50 in the tip jar and wanted us to do it all over again. And
some other guy got on the mic. And
well, next thing we know, it was just getting out of hand. And then
oh my gosh,
this year we will be at Tate & O'Brien's in New Smyrna Beach. That's why I'm wearing the shirt.
Nice.
So for our evening performance on St. Patrick's Day, that's where we will be.
Nice. Yeah. The drunk people crack me up. I love the people that come up to you while you're playing music and singing songs and ask you questions.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And you're like, I can't answer you right now.
I'm in the middle of singing.
I'm in the middle of this
song. You're like, I'm singing right now.
I'm just like, I'll tell you later. I swear. I promise.
It happened to me the other night. I was playing Patty Cassidy's in Cocoa Beach, and a guy wanted me a business card between songs, and he wanted to start talking to me, but I still had 20 minutes to go on the set. And I said, look, I'm done at 1 a.m. If you can hang out, I would love to talk to you. But he ended up leaving shortly after that. So
yeah, it's like, great. Thank you. But we'll have to talk later. They always crack me up. But, just be sweet, and hopefully they're not too drunk to where this one lady started banging on the table because she wanted to get the beat somehow. I don't know. had no rhythm. And I'm just like, okay, because I'm the drummer. I'm the drummer and the vocalist in our Celtic band. And I'm just like,
that's awesome.
So I'm just like banging my drum because I'm like, please don't let us get
You have a
off
band,
because
is
of
that
this
what you have,
woman.
or-
Yes, I play the bow drum, and then
Oh,
I
okay.
play a tom drum at the same time. So
Oh,
I
nice.
have it strapped, and then I sing.
Wow.
And
Cool.
I have this little box that I just got for Christmas from my parents that is electrified, and I'm gonna like try to do that with my foot at the same time, and I'm gonna be like that guy in Mary Poppins that's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
doing all this stuff at once. And they'll just you can just come to the show to watch me like not die. That'd be great.
That's great. I love that.
I don't know. So it's a lot of fun. Just pull all the instruments out at one time. So yeah, it's great. But yeah, so this has been
We'll play them all at once.
No, I can't be 13 at
all at
once.
once. So we're gonna actually be listening to Winter Memory next. Tell us about Winter Memory.
That was the song that started it all, if you will. It was a song I had written long before I became a performing musician. I'd written it in college, and I think I performed it at a couple open mic nights around Cleveland. But we recorded that song in 2004, and I put it on the 2006 album, which we call Dancing with the Demigods under the Earn name. And that song just took off. I mean,
Nice.
it kind of was the song that almost pretty much put us on the next level as far as a lot of the bands that we ended up starting to touring with, because when a lot of these aforementioned bands were coming over, like I said, Fin Troll or, like Elvedi, they kept getting paired up with a lot of death metal bands and black metal bands because there just wasn't any of that here in North America. We've also toured Canada too several times. And the part of it is, here we were getting up there with a wooden piccolo, a 12-string acoustic, and, all of a sudden you would thought we'd reinvented the wheel. Did nobody hear of Jethro Tull? So then
Right.
we were starting to get multiple shows. We're doing legs of tours starting out in Cleveland, going all across the Midwest, like Denver, and, playing all these shows, kind of mixing these songs in. And this song was the one that everybody just went crazy on. So we've always come back to that one because it's always, and we always notice that when we play it live, even in an acoustic
There's a
duo
good
setting,
energy to it. Yeah.
everybody gets into it.
That's
So
nice.
we're very fortunate. We're very grateful for this.
That's really awesome. Well, this is not the last time I will talk to you, but the last time I'll talk to you for this show.
It's been a pleasure to talk.
And
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you
have
so
to get you guys back, especially because I'm sure it's at least for us, pandemic wise, we've written a lot of music over pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I'm assuming there's probably more music in your future that no one's even heard of yet. So we want to hear it, and we want to hear about you guys and what you're doing.
That one of our guitarists in the metal band lives in Indianapolis, and we've actually
Nice.
played the Arts Garden several times.
Yes,
Gen
they
Con.
are great.
We've done 4 or 5 acoustic shows in the Arts Garden, and it was something we're hoping to do again once things are reopened. So
Definitely.
we'll be in touch with the
Absolutely.
folks there at the council. See about getting this
That would
back.
be awesome. Definitely tell us about when that's happening, because if you guys come into Indy after all this is over, and then you can like sit down, maybe do an interview with us live, because that would be really cool. And then they'll know when you're playing at the Arts Garden. We'll be able to come and say hi to you guys as well. But thank you guys so very much, and I can't wait to listen to all of the music that's to come, and the music that was on the show as well. It's been beautiful to get to know you.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.